Alrighty, here we are with our Volley IQ segment about seeing the future. Boom, boom. We are going to talk about chunking, shadowing, reading the play in general. There's a lot of myths out there, right, Bryce? So, what are we going to be talking about? What are we trying to debunk here?
Think we're trying to get players to understand that the sooner we get our eyes on the next person to touch the ball, the more information we're going to see, whether it's attacking, seeing the play on our side of the net, defense or blocking, seeing the play on the other side of the net. The more we can see, the more we're going to understand, the less we have to track the ball.
We've gotten a lot of comments in our YouTube channel about, hey, how do we read? How do we see? Everything moves so fast, especially the higher up you go, or even just for a person that's beginning, it probably moves even faster because you have no clue what's going on or what to look at. So we're going to kind of dissect how to do this, when to do this, and it's going to really kind of break down for our viewers what seeing the future, what reading the play actually is. So we'll go here and we'll play out the whole rally for you. So we'll pick on number 21, sorry. But here, the middle's coming around. Where's this ball going to go, Bry? Obviously, we know. But what are some
Well,
things that you're looking at?
yeah, I'm watching the path of the middle, and he's going more towards one on his path. So that's one thing you would notice. But you also got to look at the blockers in front of you and who's up and who's down.
Yeah, so the path of the blocker or the attacker is huge. But what I like to do is put them against each other. So this guy's not coming around this middle blocker. If he's coming around here into the space, he's going to be more into this 1-6 seam.
Yeah.
So if he's stuck here, then that means that the ball is going to go in between these two players. So
Yeah.
with this information alone, you would have the zone 6 player take a step or two steps here. And if they actually don't set him, then okay, they set the outside. He can still be in the cross. Or if they do set right side, he can go back and resort back to the diagonal there, or whatever the scouting report is there. So the chunk is I know the ball's coming in this seam just by this, right?
Yeah.
And so I can see the play happening before it does. And then this, again, we're seeing it more. So you can you can commit even more to, wow, I really think that, the shoulder is really dropping. So he's going to even try to go a little bit more. And I
Yeah.
think that was my kind of superpower. Was I the best athlete? Was I the best passer or defender? No, but I've played a lot of sports and I can kind of see those little intricate moves before they actually happen.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Brian?
Yeah. I think just are we watching the hitter the whole time and are we watching the play the whole time? And then one interesting thing too is if we have time in between plays, maybe running that play back in our mind to understand what we saw for future plays in the match. That would be an interesting thing too.
Yeah, watching video is huge.
Yeah.
And then also doing a lot of reps if you're in practice and then leaving and kind of giving your brain 10 seconds to catch up.
Yeah.
That's a huge concept that people are using now. And then once you give your 10 seconds of break, your brain actually works 30 to 40 times faster
Yeah.
instead of doing more reps or thinking about that rep. Just giving yourself a break is great. So I think what we're looking at to kind of answer your question, non-question, is we're seeing the picture. So I'm imagining if this is what I'm seeing and telling my kids, like, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the setter go up, and is he dumping or not? I see the middle in relation to my blockers. Are my blockers out of position? Are they balanced? Did they cheat? And then once it goes from this box, I'll select another block box around the attacker, the right side or the outside. So a lot of players don't focus on this box. They're kind
Yep.
of more ball, 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 or maybe even setter's hands. And I like to say soft focus. Like I'm just zoomed out. What's going to happen? I'm not committed to much. And then I can be in a calm state to then react.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. So we'll go to the next one. This is what I like to call shadowing. And so if we look at this rep, what as a defender I like to see was this image of shadows taking up where the hitter could actually hit. So as this hitter's coming in, right, he's going there. If I'm the libero in zone 5, I'll blow this up a little bit more so people can see it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So if I'm coming in here, all right, and I'm the zone 5 defender, what I like to see in my eyes is, all right, my middle's going to dive into this seam. My outside, if they help, they're going to dive here. So what it's naturally doing is creating this little triangle shaped window where the ball can actually come out. Yes, the balls can go high off the hands, but maybe that's zone 6 or you just got to chase it down, see what happens, right?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this and I'm putting myself in a position to block that. I call it sunlight. So the sunlight goes through this little triangle and the shadows block. So I'm not worried about all of these shots.
Yep.
I'm worried about just very simple, boom, that triangle,
Yep. This is what should happen. Yep.
right? And so that middle's kind of out of position. So get there a little bit sooner so you can chunk this. Because as he's moving after the serve, he's not really chunking anything. And oh shoot, right?
Yep.
So getting to a position faster, but also getting into a position where he's comfortable and seeing, and then the triangle and the shadow would make sense in this position. So here, great positioning by 16. As he's coming around, Brian's point earlier, he's going to come around and like really show here. But now that we know the middle's going to shadow this position, the ball can either come in that 1-6 seam or it can come back into that 5-6 seam. My arrows are pretty brutal, but here you can see, boom, middle does a great job of taking away the hard hit. That 16 could be a little bit further over, like right here, but it's boom, cut back. This is where the ball ends up, but like we should see that shadow before it happens. Because if he dives, right, there's just a little bit more, and then the middle's probably just going to go off of his arm, right? He's
Yep.
going to see the arms and he's going to go just boom, a little bit. And that's where he's out of position based on where maybe that's a base defense that they're playing. I don't know. But that should have been one step a little bit sooner. He kind of made it too late, and that's why he gets beat.
Yep.
So this is my favorite example because I know if 86 you were on the box across from him, Brian, you hit a down ball and say, "Hey, I'm going to hit a down ball." He's making this dig, right?
Yep.
And so why does 86 not make this? It's because of all the stuff that we're talking about. It's not because he's a bad athlete. He's not a good defender. Maybe he's a middle, so he'll joke about that, right? But he's a great athlete, playing pro. He can make the dig 80% of the time. It's just this 20% of the time he's running, and then he's in a position where he's not chunking and he's not seeing the shadows. and therefore he's surprised that the ball hits him on his lap and then he can't make the play. And so if he's here, boom, good fast move. If he's in a calm position because he knows
I mean, yeah.
this is taken away, so the guy can either go boom, which is not 86's ball, or boom, or he can tip, right? That's another thing. He could go tip, cross, or line. That's three things instead of
Anything could happen.
500.
Yeah.
So he gets here, and this is a great position, but is his brain in a good position to where he's calm, he's relaxed, and then he can make this play?
So do you think that's him not looking at the player soon enough or him not understanding the information in front of him?
Um, I think again, we saw the other middle too, like getting to a position where he's comfortable and then getting comfortable with what he's seeing. And then on top of that, being comfortable with his mind-body connection, relaxed tension,
Yeah.
calm, not stressed, not tense, going, oh shoot, I got to dig this ball. So I think there's a quick progression that the quicker you are in those three things of boom, get there, see, relax,
Mm,
and then having the technical move would be the
right.
maybe the cherry on top where, all right, can he actually make that play? Some middles just can't move their hips or they're just really not good at passing, right? And that might be a technical thing that they need to work on or play more. But just given his athleticism, kind of how he moves, I would say it's kind of at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it's not moving smooth enough
Mm,
towards the actual play.
yeah.
So, big takeaways, Bri. What do you think?
Well, I like what you just said right there about kind of the whole picture of it and our within seeing it and feeling certain things in our body. So I think that's a great thing for players to kind of understand. I still think this is a hard thing to train, and the more we can just kind of what you said earlier, give ourselves a break in between, like that 10-second, and try to understand what you saw, so our mind can process it more. The more we see it, is really going to be helpful. And then whether it's coaches or yourself, just asking questions before, during, after matches about what you noticed and what you saw could really help kind of slow that down to understand more.
Yeah, we got to bring awareness
Yeah.
to what's going on. I think when I look back to high school, it was just like work hard, and if you're not working hard, work harder. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I got to a point where I could do things, but then you're looking at the national team when I'm finally learning how to like open up, and I'm like 25, right? So it's this thing where we have a lot of people watching these videos and they work hard. Our point maybe is just to be like, yo, zoom out,
Yeah.
work, work less hard, like take it easy and start trying to see where the pieces connect. Because at some point, it's not really about athleticism. Everybody in college is like a great athlete. Who's making it to the next level? Nutrition, workouts, just mind, body,
Yeah.
and
Mindset.
just life mindset, right? And so it's like, and then I think that piece is this, where they're giving them, to your point, space to take feedback, learn from people, grow, not being in this brittle state where it's like, oh, I'm a bad passer, like, or a middle. My favorite's the middle setting. Like, oh, I can't set the ball. It's like, I guarantee you, Max Holt is thinking, I can set this ball,
Yeah.
right? And he has that confidence. And so getting people to be comfortable in these concepts and this state and this mindset of, hey, let's learn, let's be aware, let's grow, rather than like trying to beat it down so that we get the skill. Because when we've even helped high schoolers, right, with this, sometimes it just clicks. They're like,
Yeah.
whoa, I mean, I've never seen the block before. I've never
Yep.
seen my blockers, or I've never seen the opposing setter, and she's like this, or like this, or like this. And then even just putting awareness on it and be like, hey, do you see this picture? And then people go, yep. And then they start digging it.
Yep. They understand it much more. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So see the future. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.